Um, well, I had left my abusive relationship after about 8 years, and I went into addiction when my youngest was about 4 months. I spent 3 years in addiction, going my own way. The kids were with family at that time. Of course, God had enough of me doing my own thing, and so I ended up in jail. And about 7 months after being in jail, I was released and I was sentenced to drug court. As soon as I was sentenced to drug court, they had sentenced me to the Lighthouse. I'm from Texas. I didn't have any family over here in Mississippi. So not only was I in recovery and just becoming a mom again or having my kids back, I was also homeless. And that's kind of how I ended up at Lighthouse. Since then, I spent about 9 months there, and then I went to secondary treatment, kind of more of a housing, assisted housing, and I spent a year and a half or so there until I was ready to be on my own. At the secondary housing treatment that I was at was when I had applied here, and I've been working here since May of 2017, so roughly about 2 years now.
I was highly against hiring her because of the history we've had with addicts, and my husband just pulled me in the back and he just told me, he said, Jenny, he said, I saw Holy Spirit all over her, and that he was willing to take the risk and invest in her, that God had trusted us with these businesses, that we needed to use them for him, and if that meant giving somebody else an opportunity. And he just reminded me, he said, Jenny, think of everything we've been forgiven for. Think of all the second chances we've had. So I couldn't really argue that. So he hired him.
When I was younger, I didn't realize how important it was to keep a job and work hard. And of course, that was something that Lighthouse had taught us about: job readiness, appropriate dress wear, to interviews and things like that. Of course, that didn't happen with this situation, but they did teach me how to obtain a job and hold that job, and what was expected. And some of the way that they taught us that was just holding us accountable with our chores that we had at home, teaching us to be responsible at home, not just in the job field. Having a menu that you make up each week of what you're gonna cook for dinner and sticking with it, as well as the chores that were assigned to us, and making it to our Bible studies and our classes on time. Appointments, doctor's appointments, making it to those on time. And that was things that they didn't do for us. They did give us the tools and the phone numbers, the way to get those things done. But that was something that we had to do, and they were encouraging the whole time. Mr. Ken and Miss Carrie, they're like my family. Miss Kim as well. I didn't spend as much time with her in the group that I was in the time that I was there, but they're definitely like family. Well, I was saved when I was 12. I know now that I was truly saved at 12, but at 12, 20 years ago, they didn't teach you how to build that relationship. They taught you, get saved, have a relationship with the Lord, but they didn't actually instruct you that it's a daily walk with Him. It's opening His Word, searching His Word, communing with Him, as well as obeying Him. And so that didn't become real for me until I was sitting in jail. And that's when God spoke to me personally and told me that He had better plans for me than what I was doing at that time. Regardless of the lies that I had allowed my mind and Satan to make me believe, then from that point, I just had to continue renewing my mind with His Word, and praying and believing what God had said. It's easy to do that when you're in jail. You don't have anything else to do. When you leave and you're back in the real world is when it becomes harder and it becomes more of a responsibility. And you have to follow that desire and continue with it, because it's so easy to get distracted, you know. But at Lighthouse, there was so many Bible studies all the time. We had volunteers on almost every night of the week that were there to work with us, and their ministries that they were helping towards us. Some were just like a little sewing class and a small Bible study. Others were a meal and a Bible study, a women's Bible study. Others were a recovery-based Bible study with us. And all of those were separate than the foundational courses that Lighthouse takes you through, that they walk you through the job readiness and the life skills and the time management and the conflict resolution. So yeah, they were all part of the step to getting to where I am now, and the knowledge, as well as keeping it, continuing to move forward, not letting it go, not letting it stay there at Lighthouse.
It's something that I've thought about lately. I'm lost, thinking I will rise up someday when it all.
He has far surpassed any expectation that he had, and I mean, I was so skeptical. It's just really been a wonderful lesson for me. I hate to say that I judged a book by a cover, but I absolutely did. And I know that not all scenarios turn out like hers, but with Christ and Holy Spirit, she has just soared, absolutely soared. She's moved up as high as she can, with the exception of owning the business for us. Of my management team and my employees, she gives it 150% every single time. It doesn't matter what we ask her to do, she's going to do it, no questions asked. She's just really a go-getter.
Well, of course I would say give Lighthouse a chance, you know, give them a chance, but not only give them a chance, but recognize that our ways didn't work. They didn't. Try something new. You're being provided with a new way of thinking. Try it, stick with it. It's not always rainbows and butterflies. You have 5 to 15 women living there with a bunch of kids at one time, you know, but it's doable. You can do it. Yeah, I can do it. I got 4 kids.
Still feel like a child who's got forever, but it's not.